Hello, everybody. Welcome to Man in the Arena, a show where we try to help men. Today's show is that every man should get a dog. And I have my dog here, Bronx, 3 years old, well, almost three, 2.5. He's a rescue. I got him after my last dog, Bryce, passed away. So he can wave hi to everybody. All right. So as I've talked about in the past, suicide with men is a big issue, and it seems like it's getting worse. I myself have struggled with post-traumatic stress disorder for a long time. I'm an Iraq war veteran, and one thing that really helped me in my life was having a dog. I'll get into that in a second, but the reason why I think that having a dog will be helpful for men is a lot of times we struggle to, I especially struggle with this, is getting out my emotions and expressing myself when I'm hurting to others. And having a dog has helped me in a lot of ways. When I'm really upset, when I'm really mad or things aren't going my way, I could vent to my dog. And my dog doesn't judge. My dog doesn't get angry, doesn't get hurt, doesn't get upset. And when he does, he just smiles at me and wags his tail or brings a toy. And, I've struggled in the past with like suicidal ideation. And it's very hard to take it to the next level when you have a dog that loves you with all its heart, wagging its tail at you, bringing you a toy to throw for him. So I think dogs are an essential element for men. And, I'm a big advocate for rescue animals. I think that I myself am like a rescue, right? I have a troubled past, being a combat veteran, and dogs the same way. And cats and other, they deal with the same issues of having trauma from their past. So I think that having a rescue dog in some ways is helpful because it helps you both bond together. You both have a traumatic past, and it helps you get through the hard times. And just dogs will love you unconditionally. That is the thing. There's no condition. It's one of the few things in the world that would just love you no matter what. I could be living in my car and my dog would still love me. I could have no job, no money, be obese, be anything negative our society would label, my dog would still think I was the greatest thing in the world. And that would be the same way with you. I think that if you're struggling, the number one thing, and I know dogs do cost money, so be cognizant of that. But at the same time, the rewards you get from having one big time outweighs the cost, and they are always going to be there for you. And I think that especially for me with like combat veterans, it's one of my number one things that every guy who's been to combat, which isn't as big of a deal now, we still have guys, like I said, that have been dealing with it for a long time, but should get a dog when they get out. That dog will be the number one things that helps them get through PTSD and the stress of combat and reintegration into society. But men in general, I think, would benefit greatly from a dog. And I know a lot of guys have dogs, but I know a lot that don't. And for a myriad of reasons. But just still, I think that, the suicide epidemic, especially among men, 80% of suicides are for men, would go down significantly if more men had dogs. Just having that animal next to you, just next to you, just calm, just petting. Dogs could sense when you're upset. So when you're going to be all hyped up and your emotions are going, your dog understands that. He can sense that. And dogs are very good at, even if they're not trained, at calming you down, at bringing you down, at making you happy. In my opinion, dogs are God's angels on earth. I'm a religious person. I don't push religion on anybody. I think that everybody needs spirituality and needs to believe in a God. I think that is helpful as well. But I think that dogs' love is pure, and it's a way that we can feel God's love directly through an animal. And they're gifts, and mine have always been gifts. And it's been a lot of problems. I'm trying to film this right now. My dog is at my feet throwing a toy at me, and it's part of it. It's part of the joys of having a dog. But I like I said, I recommend any men out there is to get a pet. Like shelters right now are overwhelmed because people are hurting financially. And if you can afford one, go to your local shelter, your local rescue, and adopt. You're saving two lives, right? You're saving the animal's life that you adopt, and you're saving, the next one that would have been euthanized that now has a spot at the shelter. And like I said, you won't regret it. And it gets you more social. We go to the dog park all the time. I meet neighbors, I talk to people. It gives me social in ways I wouldn't. And there were some times when I had really bad depression and I didn't even want to get out of bed or leave the house. But having that dog, as angry as it would make me sometimes, it forced me out of bed. It forced me to go on a walk. It forced me to get sunshine. And it forced me to socialize. And then, of course, I felt better. So it just, a dog forces you to sort of like I said, it's like God's push in life. Dogs force you to be better, to learn to open up emotionally, to live for something, right? Like I think you'd be significantly less likely to contemplate doing something self-harm. And if you are, please contact a professional. I've had to do that in the past. But anyways, I recommend for men's health, men's mental health, is get a dog, get a dog, get a dog. You won't regret it. That dog will love you unconditionally. If you're lonely, trust me, that dog will change that real fast. Even if it's just you and us, me and him go to the beach all the time and he loves it. And just our little bonding thing. Even a car ride with your dog, trust me, it'll be one of the best things you ever did. It'll be a great experience and you won't regret it. And that's one of my takeaways. So good luck, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Get a dog, adopt, get a dog. Thank you.